You about to put a lot of people to shame. Yes, sir. Let me say it louder. For my chosen ones in the back. Listen, family, you about to put a lot of people to shame. See, I'm about to tell you something you already know, or maybe you didn't. But there's a lot of people who've been speaking bad on your name, who never believed in you from the jump, and they can't stand to see you arise to the top. Yes, sir. Now, I understand it may seem or feel unbelievable, but like I said, y'all, in yesterday's video, you that dude. You the one. And I have to continue to speak that life into you, because when you are around a bunch of energy drainers, you tend not to have that life. You tend not to have that energy. And you tend not to utilize your entire life because they've been dimming it for so long. But yes, you are the one who's about to put them to shame. Now, here's the thing with them, y'all. It's not just enough for them to be inside the room, get all the prestige, the attention, okay, or be the main topic of the conversation. They don't even want you to be inside the room. I need somebody to drop in the comments and say, I deserve it. Yes, sir. Make sure you drop in the comments, family, and say, I deserve it. See, the problem is, y'all, when you are inside the room, you don't got to talk. You don't have to say anything. Your facial expressions, your light shines, and who you are as an individual just pops out. It shows, right? Your charisma, it shows. And so what that tells them is that they are on my level and they're coming for my spot. The funny thing is, y'all, you're not worried about their spot. You have a destined one for yourself. Let me say that once again, y'all. You're not worried about their spot. You have a destined position for yourself. Somebody drop in the comments and say, I ain't worried about you. Yes, sir. Make sure you drop in the comments, family, and say, I ain't worried about you. Like I'm telling y'all, you are about to put a lot of people to shame. Because, again, they didn't think that it would be you coming from the mud, right, and building a house out of it. They didn't think that it would be you who was buried in dirt and you were sprout out and blossom to be a tree, a Chinese bamboo tree at that. They did not think that you would be the one to begin to get the attention, the prestige, and all of the clout that you are deserving of. And it's not even just about the clout, but it's about the respect that your talent, your gift, your charisma, your personality, and your character has brought you. So understand what I'm saying, y'all. You are about to put them to shame because they never thought that you would be the one to do it. It's always the one who does not seem like they are deserving, to get the position, to get the job, to get the money, to allow themselves to sprout out to who God has intended them to become. It's always that person who you think is the ugliest, the shortest, right? Didn't come from nothing, didn't have this. How can they? Well, the question is, how can they not? And that's what we're going to speak about within this video, y'all, of how you know you have put them to shame and exactly what you did to make that possible. Make sense of what I'm saying, y'all? Drop in the comments and let me know. Now, as y'all can see, y'all, we are inside the crib, okay, right here by the legendary gray couch, y'all. Yes, I'm calling it legendary. I don't care who don't think it's legendary because it's legendary, all right? But family, I'm sending nothing but love, peace, prosperity, and happiness to the family. All right, and if y'all wondering what your boy got going on for today, y'all, just had me some good old food. Now, I know y'all may eat me up in these comments about what I ate, but, I got to be honest, y'all. I got to be real. Yeah, y'all, your boy had some pork chops. I had some macaroni and cheese, rusty potatoes that comes with asparagus, green beans, and mushrooms. So I had my little vegetables in there, y'all, and I had some biscuits, right? The one with the layers. Yeah, y'all, I had that. Okay, some baked barbecue pork chops once again. For all my, my Muslims and the people who says pork is terrible for you, right? Shout out to the Muslims, by the way, y'all. But what I am simply saying is, I know a lot of people want to know what I be eating, so here it is, y'all. I'm gonna be real with you, okay? But anyway, y'all, let's get directly into this message. Let's get right directly into this word. First thing is first, y'all leave a thumbs up on this video as well as subscribe to the channel. Yes, sir. Not only that, y'all be sure to ring my bell so you can be notified after every single video I post. First thing is first, y'all. This is how you put them to shame. Number one, you outsmarted public superiors, okay? Let me say it louder. For my chosen ones in the back. Listen, family, you outsmarted public superiors, okay? And the reason why I call them public superiors is because the rankings that they have, the authority that they have, the positions that they're in. Okay, let me break it down more. I'm talking about your managers, your supervisors, shift leads, bosses, people who have more, or people who are in a position of having more resources, things like that, y'all, to where they are placed in a superior position. Not because they are better than you, but just because of where they lie. You got to respect the powers that be, right? I don't care if you are a chosen one or not. You can't go inside of your work facility and slap the boss in the face. You know what I'm saying? God says, give to Caesar what is Caesar's, give to me what is me, which means respect the powers that be, all right? However, y'all, sticking to the point, you outsmarted public superiors, and that is why they are so shameful, because they feel like since they are in this position, can't nobody outsmart me, right? Can't nobody put me to shame. And matter of fact, how is it you who's gonna put me to shame? Don't it sound similar, y'all, when it goes back to David and Goliath, right? That's why when he looked at David, he was like, is this y'all king? Is this who y'all come to slay? Is this who y'all brought to slay me? Because if so, y'all are in serious trouble, right? In so many words, that's what he was saying, until that slingshot and that rock was the perfect combination to lay him down. All right, so I want to give y'all 3 ways, y'all. And yes, we are still on number 1, but I want to give you 3 ways to how you outsmarted your public enemies or public superiors. And if y'all don't know, this will be the right time to write this down. Reverse psychology, y'all. All right, reverse psychology. This can be used for good or bad. But y'all remember on My Wife and Kids, y'all, the episode with Damon Wayans and his son had a gambling addiction, right? And his son was beating everybody. I'm talking about blackjack, poker, dice. I mean, it was his gift. It was a talent that he had. And Damon Wayans like, yeah, I'm gonna show him. So he goes to his room and he tries to beat him in blackjack. His son beat him in less than 5 minutes. Damon Wayans like, man, that didn't go exactly how I planned it. I was expecting for him to get beat and realize that money is valuable and that you should not just gamble because you can end up in a terrible situation. Well, that did not go as planned. So he had to go back to the drawing board. Goes back to the drawing board. He go get a slot machine, right? And y'all know about these slot machines. They got them all out there in Vegas. I think they got them in Myrtle Beach. They got different, locations where you can gamble, where they have these slot machines. And they also have them in the 7-Elevens, right? Them 7-Eleven stores. But anyway, so he got the slot machine, and this is what he did. He brought it to the crib, just let it sat there. It was shiny, it was looking good, and he was playing on it. He was making it seem like, it's hard to beat. And so what he told his son was, he said, son, don't touch this. This spray is too much for you. Don't touch this, right? This is only for a grown man. He said something like that, but he said, don't touch this. It is in human nature to do the opposite, the complete opposite of what a person tells you to do. Think about it. Even since the biblical days, God gave Adam and Eve specific direction. Don't eat fruit from this particular tree. It is forbidden. She was still able to be convinced, manipulated, and persuaded to go against God's command. And this is why we are in the situation we're in today. Thanks, Eve. But anyway, y'all, the point is that in his mind, he like, man, I'm finna touch it anyway. And then on the show, it got it like the girl, like the gambling machine is a girl, and she's seducing him and enticing him. And he go in his stash and he just spent all his money to where the machine has now taken all of his money. And that was his way. That was his father's way of outsmarting his son. And he got all his money back, got his golf clubs back. If y'all watch the show My Wife and Kids, y'all know what I'm talking about. But the point is, y'all, he used reverse psychology, right? Because he couldn't go straight head up with him. He wasn't listening. The second way of outsmarting people is exploiting their weakness, okay? Exploiting their weakness. So y'all know I do Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, right? So when it comes to Jiu-Jitsu, the way that you, or one way, because it's more than one way to skin a cat, one way that you can beat your opponents is by exploiting their weakness. So like me, I'm more so of a more built guy, you know what I'm saying? I got more mass, if you will. If I'm going against a guy who's smaller than me, well, I can use my strength and my weight as my strength and my advantage, and I can use their weight to their, well, I can exploit their weakness by using their weight against them. Like, if this person is very small, then I'm going to do a lot more guillotines. I'm going to do a lot more Americanas, Camaros. I can't remember what that particular one was called, but it's things that allow me to put them and pin them on the ground to where my weight is working in my advantage, but I am exploiting their weakness. Because if you don't know the technique, then you're going to lose, point blank, period. So that is what it looks like when you are exploiting someone's weakness. You're taking their insecurity, you're taking their uncertainty, you're taking their vulnerability, using it against them, and this is how you can outsmart them, right? This is why smaller guys are able to beat bigger guys when it comes to jiu-jitsu, because they can use their weight against them. It's about exploiting a person's weakness and taking it and using it for your advantage. Make sense what I'm saying, y'all? And the third way of outsmarting public superiors is creating misdirection, right? Creating misdirection. So a female lion has sex with multiple male lions. You know why? Because she knows that if all of them have been inside of her, then they're not going to be more prone to kill the lion, the cub, right? But if one has only been inside of her, then the other ones already know that that's not my son, which means we gonna kill him, right? It's a nature thing, y'all. Look it up. It's a nature thing. But the point is, y'all, that is creating misdirection, right? You think that she's just out here being a female whore, or she's just out here being a lion whore. No, what she's doing is creating misdirection. And so she is protecting her babies, actually. It's a real thing, y'all. Look it up. But those are the three ways of how you can outsmart public superiors: reverse psychology, exploiting weakness, and creating misdirection. Number 2, y'all, you gain dominance over your enemies, right? You gain dominance over your enemies. Now, the way you do this, y'all, is by number 1, leading. You have to lead, right? Of course, y'all, in order to be a great leader, you have to be an even better follower. But when you lead, you are gaining dominance over your enemies. Your enemies are expecting for you to be a follower. Your enemies are expecting for you to pay attention to them. But when you are leading, now they are following you. You set the track. You set the path. You blaze the trail. So they are following you. You minimize visual effort, right? It speaks about that in the 48 Laws of Power, minimizing visual effort. When you do this, y'all, it makes it seem like the things that you have accomplished was effortless, which gives you that dominance, right? If you see a man lift up, 500 pounds, 600 pounds, straight man strength, and he does it like it did not hurt or like it was easy, you're going to have a different level of respect for that man. Why? Because he minimized visual effort. It looks easy when he did it. You took initiative. When you take initiative, y'all, it's almost like a guy walking up to a group of women and speaking to them. He took initiative. Instead of a guy seeing that a woman is giving him choosing signals, but he looks and then turns his head. He didn't take initiative. Therefore, you don't get the girl, right? But that's anything in life. You got to take the initiative to chase your dream. You got to take the initiative to do it big. You got to take the initiative to get the house. Take the initiative, right? Somebody drop that down below in the comments. Take the initiative. Another way you gained dominance over your enemies was you stood your ground, okay? You got to stand your ground, y'all. Going back to nature. A lion battle for territory, right? Whether that's the female lion, that's his territory. Whether it's the straight or the the field that's out there, the jungle. We're gonna battle for this land. Therefore, somebody got to stand their ground, and the person who wins, they get to stay. And you got to go out here. That's just how it is, y'all. And when you implement that same thing in real life, then you put them to shame. Okay. And on top of that, y'all, you are inserting your dominance over your enemies. And the last thing, y'all, is lower emotional investment. Anytime a person don't have an emotional investment, it's good because you have that dominance over your enemies. When you are too emotionally invested into your enemies, it's going to cause you to have more problems, more issues, more worries, more stress, more anxiety. But when you don't have that emotional investment, it's almost like, they are an enemy for no reason. They're trying to hurt you for no reason, because anything they do, you are not connected to it. Make sense of what I'm saying, y'all? But that's how you gain dominance over your enemies. That's number 2. Number 3, y'all, you prove them wrong. Okay, you just straight up prove them wrong, right? Somebody drop in the comments and say, I was right. Don't it just feel good, y'all, to real life accept the fact that you are who you are, and accept the fact that you said what you said, and it actually came into fruition. You was right? But the movie Blindside, y'all, about the big dark-skinned guy who came from the straight-up slums. Okay, the movie is called Blindside. I'm sure y'all know. It's like an early 2000s movie. But it was about this guy who came from the slums and didn't really have family. And, this white family ended up taking him in. And when they took him in, they kind of turned his life around, as though that's what the movie has portrayed. Okay, but they say that he actually became a student. He went to college. I think he went to Clemson. He did a lot of positive things after he was inside of a positive environment or home. And so the people who he was connected to, they never believed in him. They always said that he wasn't going to be nothing. They always said that he didn't have the capability. They called him fat, black, and all those things. And today he's a multi-millionaire. But it feels good when you prove them wrong, because they set their expectations of you failing so high to where when you exceeded those expectations of you failing and actually became successful, they become so shameful because you proved them wrong. And not only proved them wrong, but you did it in front of everybody. Number 4, y'all, their evil plots failed. Okay, their evil plots failed. Let me just say it like this, y'all. This is a classic example of vindictive behavior backfiring. Okay, so back in 2021, this is when I got my divorce, right? And I was online, on court. This is around the time of the pandemic, so they wouldn't let nobody come inside the courthouse. So I was online, and I was able to see everybody's situation, especially, those who were ahead of me, right? And they would have been able to see mine too if I was going first, but luckily I did not. Anyway, I was seeing just so many different people's situations, and I see this one lady, she got a child taken. I'm not an advocate for nobody to have their children taken, because male or female, that was something that you invested in. That was your child. That's your baby. That's your seed, right? And so she got a baby taken. But when the guy was speaking, the guy's lawyer was speaking, and it was speaking about what he was going through, some of the things you wouldn't believe. She was taking his child before he had the custody rights. She was on drugs. She was not allowing him to see his baby. Taking advantage of child support. I mean, just basically exploiting him through his child. And the judge granted him custody over the child. And it was sad to hear, because she was crying and stuff like that. Y'all, I really hate that. But that just goes to show you that vindictiveness, it can backfire. When you are being vindictive, a vindictive baby daddy, vindictive baby mama, a vindictive family member, a vindictive coworker, whatever the case is, when you are being vindictive, it can backfire and will backfire, right? And that's a classic case of it doing so. The last one, y'all, number 5, is going to be this: humiliation. Humiliation, y'all. You know, I love Bruce Lee movies. And what I love about Bruce Lee movies is when he was kicking 20 dudes behind all at one time, 30 dudes behind at one time. Like, I'm talking about, it was crazy, right? But what I took from it, y'all, is that that's another form of humiliation. Because Bruce Lee didn't just beat you to sleep. You know, he tagged you so many times to where you want to just quit. But what really did it is that it would be one man against 20 people in front of 100 people. So he finna beat 20 people in front of 100 people. Listen, y'all, that's not a defeat. That's humiliation. How you get beat by one man, right? But that's the same thing with yourself. One man, you one woman. And they lost tremendously. You humiliated them. And that's how you put them to shame, right? You humiliated them on the job. You did better work. You humiliated them within the family. You were a better leader, right? You were more talented. You humiliated them in life because look at where they are and look at where you are. Humiliation. And you did it in front of multiple people, right? Effortlessly, though. Effortlessly, okay? But with that being said, y'all, you are about to put a lot of people to shame. And you have to be ready for the ridicule that it comes with, because here's the thing, y'all. When you got it all, they gonna talk about you. When you don't have it all, they still gonna talk about you. When you're poor, they're gonna talk about you. And when you're broke, they will talk about you. The point is, y'all, it don't matter where you are in life, they are gonna talk about you regardless. All right, somebody drop in the comments and say they gonna talk regardless. Yes, sir. Make sure you drop in the comments, family, and say they gonna talk regardless. But listen, y'all, as we conclude this video, understand something, y'all. They are already in shame and they're scared of your next move. So keep moving, all right? Y'all already know how we do. Y'all make sure y'all get one of these Yes Sir t-shirts. Get you a Yes Sir hoodie. Book a one-on-one session with your boy. Not only that, y'all, but y'all make sure y'all go over to the Rich Mentality Academy, meet your tribe, and let's get better. I'm going to catch y'all in the next video. Y'all keep a rich mentality. Peace.